Trump is basically taking away all the national parks. He's going to put oil drills everywhere. He's going to sell everything off to the highest bidder.
Right.
He's fired like pretty much every single national park employee. And we're all going to die. Welcome back. This is Bubba and the Bug.
Yeah.
Where we're just talking about stuff.
Yeah. Keeping it real. Having a good time. I always have a good time.
Yep. We're kind of working toward a nature, outdoorsy kind of sort of area of focus.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a big part of our lives, you know?
Common ground for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we're looking at the world. We're looking at everything. We just kind of have like a focus of outdoor activity. And then everything else kind of just stems around it, basically.
Yeah.
We still talk about other stuff, too. We're not like tied down to it.
Yeah.
Not down to like a
specific thing,
really.
Yeah.
But today, what we want to talk about is these national park cuts.
Right. Yeah. I've been reading about those.
You've been reading about it?
Yeah.
You got anything to say, man? I mean, what does Trump have to say for himself, honestly?
Well, it seems that
sorry.
Why don't you
Sorry, before you say anything.
Yeah.
Can I just preface why I want to talk about this?
Please do. Honestly, why don't you take the first step on this topic?
Take the first step?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I've been seeing all of these videos on our TikTok and YouTube and everything. It's these people that are like super upset because they're like, Trump is basically taking away all the national parks. He's going to put oil drills everywhere. He's going to sell everything off to the highest bidder.
Right.
He's fired like pretty much every single national park employee. And we're all going to die.
Right.
It's kind of like the vibe that I've been getting from the internet.
Right.
I don't really know why, but that's what I've been feeling and seeing.
That's been in your feed?
In our feed.
Our feed.
Like Bubba and the Bug. Like,
yeah.
Like stuff that's like, next to our stuff.
Right.
On one hand, it is kind of upsetting. And on the other hand, I wanted to look a little closer at it and see what's really going on.
Right.
Yeah. Because you see like these kind of clickbaity type
absolutely
things that are just building up kind of rage in people, but it's like really what's going on.
Right.
And now there were like 1,000 employees fired.
Yeah.
Like either last Friday or the Friday before that, I'm not sure, but for like long-term employees, but they've been making cuts across the entire government, which is like kind of
the whole thing,
a whole other thing.
Right.
But what I didn't know, if people really realized, is that, have you heard of this thing called the Antiquities Act?
The Antiquities Act. That sounds familiar, but I couldn't explain it, so no.
The monuments. Let's see. Sorry. The Antiquities Act of 1906 is one of our nation's most important conservation tools, used to safeguard and preserve federal lands and cultural and historical sites for all Americans to enjoy. 18 presidents have used this authority and have designated 167 national monuments.
Okay.
So this was under Teddy Roosevelt.
Okay.
Who was a pretty big conservation guy.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And
big hunter too. Huge hunter.
Right. And
he all over the world.
Was he the walk lightly, carry a big stick guy, or was it the other Roosevelt?
I couldn't tell you.
Walk lightly and carry a big stick.
That sounds.
I think it was one of the Roosevelts.
Familiar.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds familiar.
So this act has protected 167 national monuments.
Okay.
And this gives the president authority to kind of like say, hey, this is important for either archaeological, cultural, or just preservation type reasons.
Right.
And they can kind of like say, all right, this, and then whatever the minimum amount of land is around it to protect it is protected, and it either goes to like BLM or National Park Service, or some entity is like designated, or a state is designated to like kind of protect it.
Okay. And
I've seen nothing in 2025 about Trump saying that he would go against that.
Right.
So everything about like Grand Canyon, all these big national parks, nothing should happen to them.
Yeah, because they're protected by that.
Because they're protected by the Antiquities Act.
Yeah.
Thanks to Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah. There was a guy that wanted to get rid of this act. That was...
Who was it?
That was... William Perry Penley.
Okay.
But that was like under the last Trump administration. He was like, let's get rid of it. But he was ousted pretty quickly, it seems like.
Yeah.
So they were like, nah, you're actually a psychopath.
Yeah, that's a pretty psychopath.
Maybe not psycho, but he was like, he's way too radical, right?
Yeah.
In terms of like selling off all the
national
parks. So on one hand, you have this like, it's just the same kind of story regurgitated from the last administration, Trump administration.
Okay.
But it's a little bit different because they have been making cuts.
Yeah.
To staffing.
Yeah, to staffing specifically.
But they're not going to be putting oil drills
in the
Grand Canyon.
No.
That, and also Utah and one other state, I think, have already passed bills that would keep national parks running if there was a federal shutdown, or once the federal shutdown happens.
Okay.
Because some people are worried about like going to, if they have these permits for trips to Yosemite or whatever.
Yeah, that's a huge deal.
If there's a government shutdown, will they be able to get into the park?
Right.
That's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But 2 states have already passed bills that would basically keep those parks running, even if there was a government shutdown.
Okay.
So you have the Antiquities Act protecting them from being sold off. You have states kind of backing up that they're going to keep the parks running.
Yeah.
And then Trump recently said that he would rescind some of those layoffs to the seasonal employees.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you read anything about that?
I think so.
Did you find anything worth talking about?
Yeah. So, obviously there's a lot of things that happen here behind the scenes that the general public can't see, or maybe can't even understand. The whole machine of the government, it's complex. Things aren't very simple. Like, you can't just, it's not just like there's going to be effects and, anyways. But, with that, I would say, number one, ever since COVID, basically anything that I see on the internet, or really just not even necessarily the internet, but just like the general public, that seems like, wow, this is crazy, this is insane that this is happening, like, oh my gosh, everybody's gonna die, like, it's like a zombie apocalypse. If you get COVID, you're gonna die, and you gotta be vaccinated and you gotta be quarantined or whatever. But ever since that time, I've been like super wary of big things like that, and I try not to be a dry sponge and absorb the whole thing. You know what I mean? I try to look in detail at it and see what's actually happening. Because reality is people exaggerate things, and they make things seem way bigger and worse than they actually are. So that being said, I don't think this is as crazy as it seems, but I was reading some of the comments that these Park Service employees who work for the, Forest Service or whatever, reading some of their comments about like how they got fired, or some of these seasonal employees who were basically guaranteed a job for the summer, how they were like, oh, actually, you're not gonna have a job anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And those were kind of interesting because those are actually employees, so that's like straight from the source, right?
Those comments were probably before this new thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like this new thing in terms of
hiring.
Yeah. And another thing I'll say is I think in general the whole Doge thing,
Department of Governmental Efficiency.
Right. I think it's a great thing. I think that there's so many organizations and so much money being wasted in the government. And so I'm all for making our government more efficient and more effective at what it's supposed to do. And also keeping it from overstepping in places where the state should really be running things, which I feel like in some of these cases, this is state's responsibility to kind of run their show in terms of what parks they have. But anyways, cutting fat is not like easy. Like it's going to be painful, I think, in general. And I'm not saying that it's a good thing that all these people got fired at all, because, in my time on the trail, I walked through several parks and talked to several, Forest Service members and employees, and, it's tough. Like, generally they are understaffed and underpaid, to be honest. And so, but kind of got off on a tangent there.
It's okay.
But
that's what we're talking about.
Huh?
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And cutting fat's not easy. And I think even if this was a slight overstep, it's a step towards rebuilding. And maybe that's what we kind of needed. Maybe we just needed a little bit more flattening, a little bit more, dissolving of current systems to rebuild it up in a better way. I don't know. Maybe that's what's happening here.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, it's hard to say. I got some numbers I can drop on you.
Yeah. So
over the last 3 years, the average amount of seasonal workers for the National Park Service has been 6,350 workers.
Yeah.
As of a couple hours ago, Trump sent a new memo to the Park Service that said it promises to hire up to 7,700 seasonal positions this year.
Wow.
So that's more than the average over the last 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, there you go. That's simple.
You're getting more seasonal workers.
Yeah.
Which in an environment where every other department is not seeing an increase, they're seeing a decrease.
Right.
Every other department is getting cut way back.
Yeah. And
the Park Service is actually one of the few, if not the only,
that's
going to hire more people than it did last year.
Right.
So I think that's a pretty good move.
Yeah. I don't see any, personally, I don't find any fault in that at all. And, like, Park Service is mostly run by seasonal employees anyways. So the fact that that's...
Yeah, there's definitely, like, management and some other people that are full-time. But
yeah, there are permanent positions.
The people on the trails and cleaning the bathrooms and helping hikers are going to be a lot of the seasonal guys.
For sure. I'm also just, like, picturing Trump, sitting in the Oval Office because, like, you hear all these things, all the executive orders he's been signing and stuff, which is fantastic. But I'm just picturing him, like, all these things are coming in front of him for him to sign, in line with the Doge mission. And he's just signing them off. And I don't know. I feel like it would be kind of easy to be like, sign something off when you have hundreds of things coming across your desk and then be like, oh, this actually had more of an effect than I thought it would. But as you can see right there, he's immediately taken action to counteract that and, like, have even more hiring than we did before across the board. So,
right. I mean, I don't really know how that works.
I don't know. I don't know either. That's just what I picture. I'm like,
yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to talk about the Great American Outdoors Act.
Okay.
All right. Now, this is a piece of legislation passed by Congress. This was signed in 2020, okay? And it was signed by Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. It has two parts. One is to fully and permanently fund the Land and Water Conservation Fund.
Okay.
With $900 million per year.
Oh, wow.
And also providing $9.5 million over 5 years to address a maintenance backlog at American national parks, including updating facilities to increase accessibility, and some other stuff.
That is so good.
So that was 2020. And so basically over the last 5 years, the government has put at least $9.5 billion of extra funds towards building up the infrastructure of the national parks.
Yeah.
So it's not like this administration is like, hey man, let's get rid of all these parks at all. It's definitely not what I see as the landscape politically.
No. Definitely not.
Does that mean that we don't, just fully trust and not do anything? You know what I mean? We have to still keep an eye out.
Yeah.
And
still have a part.
Do our part.
Yeah.
In terms of this dialogue or story that I've been seeing. It's just seemed it. Yes, there's been cuts, but it seems like national parks are in pretty good hands right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, this is not a world-ending issue. It's not even close. Yeah. I see this as a good thing.
Yeah.
If you're a Park Service employee who just got fired, though,
we know you're watching.
Hit us up and we can have you on the podcast maybe or whatever, or you could leave a comment.
Get some info
from you and see what your opinion is.
Yeah, seasonal or permanent.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't discriminate.
No, we don't. No, seasonal employees, man, they work hard for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of them basically are permanent. A lot of them like just every summer, like they're seasonal, but they're there all the time.
In terms of my personal kind of opinion on government, less is better.
Yeah.
And so these cuts, to me, Doge seems a little sketchy, honestly, kind of weird.
Okay.
But I'm happy that we're cutting stuff out, calling out people.
Yeah.
You see all this Social Security stuff?
No.
Trump, I saw as a video, Trump is like talking about how many people are collecting Social Security checks.
Okay.
And he was kind of going by age.
Uh-huh.
And so it's like 100 to 120, there's 4 million people. 120 to 130, there's 3.5 million people. 130 to 140 years old, there's 3 million people. And he's like, there's people that are older than the oldest person on the earth who are still collecting Social Security checks in the millions.
That's insane.
And that's just government money.
Yeah. Floating off.
Getting just sent out to who knows where.
Yeah. That's
someone's probably collecting it.
Yeah, it's a
for
scam.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that'd be good to get rid of all that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
You see this other thing about Elon talking about sending everybody checks?
I heard a little bit about that.
Yeah.
It was like the Doge. What was it? What was the?
So the CEO of this investment company basically, I don't know if he told them or somehow messaged him, or if he knew him and talked to him. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, hey Elon, you should since you're saving us potentially $2 trillion.
Right.
Elon claims to get to $2 trillion in savings.
Right.
Right now, that number is not anywhere close to that, I don't think. And then there's like debate about what the number really is.
Okay.
But basically, he was like, you take 20% of that and you send it back to taxpayers, to the U.S. citizens.
Right.
So at $2 trillion, 20% of that would equate to like $5,000.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. for each taxpayer.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And, Elon during the pandemic was like, these stimulus checks are not a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't a fan of them.
Right.
But now he's like, okay, yeah, I'll take this to the president. And it is different. Because instead of the government printing $1,000 for every person,
right,
they're taking a huge cut and taking a portion of those cuts and distributing them.
That's really.
I don't really know where I stand on that.
Okay.
If it's a good idea or not, because you could take it and put it against the national debt.
Yeah.
You could invest it into other areas, but
sure,
it would be interesting for sure.
Yeah, I feel like just that mindset in general is a good shift. Even if it's just a mindset shift, that's good to see.
Yeah, the
whether it happens or not.
The political landscape is crazy.
It's changing pretty significantly.
But it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I think it's important to not get too worried about it or scared. Yeah. I mean, things haven't changed significantly. They probably won't change significantly to me or you on a everyday American type level.
Living. Yeah.
But the future,
I think it's incrementally getting better.
Could be pretty heavily impacted.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man.
Yeah.
We'll see what it do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So, national parks. Maybe we'll take a quick little break.
Okay.
And then when we come back, we could talk a little bit about our trip to a national park.
Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah.
You've been to a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
I'm going to get a piece of water.
Yeah, give me a little bite of water.
Nah, I'm just kidding. We get a Pringle, dog. I'm so hungry. I feel like yeah. Like weakness is upon me. Episode 10, double digits. Episode 10. Oh.
Dude, I got this infection on my arm, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
See, it's like red.
Oh my god!
It's like red.
Dude!
All around.
I literally see that. What happened to you?
It's like swollen.
Okay. What happened, man?
I don't know, man.
What? Did you get like a cut? Like, it just got infected. Right?
I don't know. Bug bite? Spider bite? This looked like a bite, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks like.
And then it kind of peeled off. I had my staph infection right here once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had some.
That sucker was like this big.
Yeah.
It was creeping on my arm.
Yeah.
But this is not anywhere near that bad.
Right.
We're back.
Welcome back.
We wanted to talk a little bit about our trip to the Grand Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a national park.
It is a national park, yeah.
And we went backpacking there.
Yeah.
For 4 days. It was honestly pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome. It was a fun time. It's kind of crazy, man. Real quick here.
Okay.
Because I have a hard time having substantial memories of it. I do remember certain events.
Yeah.
But in terms of the hiking and just some of the stuff we did, I have a hard time remembering it.
I mean, it was 3 years ago.
It was 3 years ago. A lot has happened since then.
Or was it 4 years ago?
Whoa. It
was 3.
Was it in 21? I feel like it was in 21. Wasn't it in 21? I think it was in 21. I think it was in 21.
3 to 4 years ago.
Yeah, 3 to 4 years ago, yeah. But, oh, hey, Poppy. But, yeah, anyways, sometimes I have trouble remembering it. I remember it, but, not all of it.
Yeah. What's a couple of highlights of the trip from your perspective?
Highlights, freaking flying in and landing in such a bizarre place. Like
bizarre. What do you mean bizarre?
I mean bizarre in terms
where
of...
did we fly in?
We flew in.
We
flied into...
Fly in, boy.
Las Vegas. Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
And it was... What I mean by bizarre is like completely different terrain. Ecosystem, wildlife, like totally different shrubbery and vegetation.
That's true. It was like flying to a completely foreign area.
It was like flying into Mars. That's what it felt like to me.
I mean, kinda, I guess.
Because I'd never seen any...
How old were you?
I was, like... Was I 16 or 15? It was either 15 or 16.
Dang, dude.
I think I was 15, man. I feel like I was young.
Just a little baby.
I feel like I was on the young side, man.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We can put up... I definitely have a picture. We can put up a picture.
Yeah.
We'll put up a couple pictures.
Yeah, we'll put up a couple pictures. I have some videos and stuff, but... Yeah, dude. It felt like flying into Mars because since then, I have not gone back to the West Coast.
Yeah, that's the farthest west I've been.
Yeah, I have not gone back to that kind of environment where it's just dry and completely different than over here.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's nuts.
Okay, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Also, so yeah, Las Vegas and then like a hour and a half drive to Flagstaff.
Yeah.
And then about a 30-minute drive to the canyon, to the south rim, I think.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yep.
South rim in November. It was November, right?
Yeah, it was in November, yeah.
Was snowy.
Yeah.
30s.
Yeah.
Cold.
Yeah, I was prepared to be cold. And the night before, when we drove into the hotel,
yeah,
it was so cold at the hotel.
Yeah.
It was cold and windy.
Yeah, cold and windy. And we were going to be camping.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And we kind of backtracked. We were like, nah, we want to start this trip off comfortably.
Yeah.
Because we had a group of, I think, 7 or 6 or 7. 6. 6.
Yeah.
And...
Yes.
Not everyone was experienced backpackers.
Right.
Everyone was like physically fit, but not everyone was like used to serious elevation and carrying a pack and everything.
Yeah.
Which is pretty tolling.
Yeah, it is pretty tolling.
So yeah, it was good to sleep and get a good night's rest on the first night. And then, man, I can't really even put into words, like, seeing the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
I never thought of it as, like, a huge deal.
Right.
But then I saw it, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
It is so vast, man.
Yeah.
Pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah, they really don't. I do remember that, too, like, driving up to the rim, and then, like, you look over and you see it, and it's just like this... It's like an ocean of... rock
of
air,
of like emptiness,
and
like
ocean,
a valley, like an emptied out ocean.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that.
It's nuts.
One highlight for me was the differences in the terrain.
Right.
Like it's almost like every day was a different ecosystem.
True.
Top was like snowy and cold and windy.
Yeah.
Kind of deserty.
Right.
But there were still trees.
Yeah.
Going down, I'll say like a tier. I don't remember. I think we did like 6,000 elevation difference or something like that.
That sounds about right.
Maybe we went from like 6,000 to 1,000 maybe. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I think the difference was roughly 6,000.
Yeah.
The elevation is higher. But yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so like going down one tier and it's like a forest.
Yeah.
The next tier and it's like shrubbery and like every stage was pretty different.
It was.
Different plants.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some things that were everywhere.
Right. For sure.
But just seeing like a different scenery every day,
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Made it interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Swimming in the Colorado.
Oh, dude, yeah. That's honestly, I remember that pretty vividly.
Yeah. It was really muddy, really pretty swift waters.
Yeah, swift.
It had been raining and snowing and raining. So the waters were moving, but we still swam. There's some spots that were good.
Yeah. Dude, that was really cool.
Not a super long swim.
No.
Yeah, but
I got up to like waist deep in the mud.
It was
so
like
muddy.
probably 60s.
Yeah.
Temperature wise, the air.
Yeah, the air. Yeah, but yeah, once we got down to the bottom, dude.
It's like almost spring.
It was
summer.
almost even summer, yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do remember like once you did get down to the bottom, just like all the rock walls and like
carved out.
It was just so cool to see that.
And then looking up and looking at a point that you can see, dude. And being like, I have to get back to that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the trail was called. Was it Hermit?
I think it was Hermit, and there was another one because it was like 2 different trails, or maybe even 3.
Yeah.
It was like Boucher or Boucher or something like that. And I do remember Hermit as well.
Yeah.
Bouche, something like that.
Something like that.
But
yeah,
it was fantastic, man.
There was a couple parts about the trip that I know kind of bothered you.
Bothered me?
Yeah.
What was it?
There's a bunch of them.
A bunch of...
They came out kind of at dusk.
Oh, freaking mice, man. Nice. Dude, that was my first time backpacking and then having to deal with mice. I didn't even know that it was a thing over here, too, in the Appalachians, but it is. At that point, I just thought it was a West Coast thing. And, dude, yeah. But there was definitely more of them over there than here.
It was pretty crazy.
It was wild. They were everywhere.
Everywhere. Like, well, as soon as, like, the sun set,
yeah,
they just started crawling out of the little holes, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You could hear them, like, running around your tent.
Yeah.
Like, on the top of it and stuff.
Yeah. It wasn't very nice, to be honest with you.
I think it bothered you.
It did bother
the most.
Me. Yeah, I tried to kill them and stuff, like throw rocks and stuff at them because I just hated them.
Gently dispatch them.
Yeah, with a rock.
Yeah.
But no, that was alright. It was alright. But I do remember one night I was in my tent and I was just sleeping on rock. Like I wasn't sleeping on rock, but my tent was on rock, and so I couldn't put my stakes in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It was like literally impossible. And I was like, oh, it's not, well, it seems pretty nice, you know. And I woke up in the middle of the night and it was just so windy. It felt like it was just, and you could hear it like whistling through the canyon and like.
That was the first night?
I think that was the first night because.
I think that was the night I had to reset up my rainfly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Because I remember going down like Angel Steps or something, or Angel Staircase or something like that. And we got there kind of on the later side. Like, because I feel like it got dark pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, and I woke up in the middle of the night and like my corners of the tent were like flapping up. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I hope it doesn't just pick me up and take me away. Like, that was maybe pretty nervous, man.
Yeah.
That was before I really had a lot of experience. I mean, I had a decent amount of experience, but I wasn't like experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still like kind of nervous about things.
Yeah. So definitely a cool trip, I think.
Yeah.
I would love to go. If you could go to any other national park this year, any of them, which one would you go to? We'll say for a backpacking trip.
For a backpacking trip?
Well, assuming that you enjoyed backpacking.
Right. Dude, I think it would... I hear a lot of good things about Glacier National Park. But, I mean, I would go to Yosemite too. I would go to Yellowstone. You know, I'd go to any of them. But
not one that's like kind of sticking out to you.
Not necessarily. I guess I don't know. I'm not really. Haven't been really exposed to the parks over there a lot.
Yeah, we don't really know what they're like.
We don't even know really what they're like, except for the fact that they're completely different than what's over here.
Yeah.
I mean, Acadia National Park
You went to Acadia.
Was phenomenal.
That was a very different
experience.
Like ecosystem too.
It was.
Almost like a
very
rainforest ocean combo. I don't really know how to describe it.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard things that like there's parallels between like the northwestern and the northeastern. Like
definitely, it definitely like kind of had the Pacific Northwest sort of vibe
for sure. Yeah, and that was really cool for me to experience. Yeah, dude, it's so bizarre up there because I feel like nobody talks about it.
Acadia,
or
just northeast.
Acadia and northeast, just in general.
Yeah,
like I feel like.
Well, Maine is pretty awesome of a state.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
dude. I
know you love it.
Dude. I yeah. When we got to Maine, it was just first day. I think the first day in Maine wasn't bad. I mean, we had been dealing with so much mud in Vermont, anyways, and it was like continuing into Maine, obviously, but. I think the first day was pretty nice in Maine and sunny. And then the second day, it started raining. And it just rained every single day until you guys came. And then it was nice. And it was beautiful weather since you guys got there to the end of the trip.
It was.
It was amazing.
It was perfect, man.
But by that time, I was sick and so sick of Maine. I was physically and mentally sick. And I just could not deal with it. Yeah. So I have kind of sour taste for Maine, but...
Dude, basically the entire northern half of the state is beautiful, completely wooded, like wilderness.
It literally is wilderness, dude.
Lakes and ponds and streams scattered everywhere.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. It was beautiful. Yeah.
I would definitely be going back to Maine at some point.
Yeah, I feel like I have to just to try to make up for maybe some things.
Yeah, maybe do Knife's Edge.
Yeah, do Knife's Edge.
Katahdin would be cool to climb again.
Yeah.
Acadia, too, is very pretty.
Dude, it was so cool. I remember, like, checking out the water, like, just there on the coast, and it was just, like, so blue.
Yeah, blue water, just, like, right up against cliffs with woods and stuff.
Yeah, and I just remember wanting to, like, just dive in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
very different than what we got here.
Yeah. Like
these kind of swampy tidal beaches and stuff.
Yeah. But it'd be so cool to put on like a wetsuit and just go like snorkeling or something, It'd be so cool, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It'd be scary, but dude, just imagine just like the edge of the cliff, right? And you're sitting there snorkeling. You can just like, I'm sure there's rocks and stuff laying on the bottom and like these cracks and crevices and stuff. You can just like swim in there with your fins and check it out, and it's just clear. That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Have you seen this cave diver trend?
No. Trend?
Yeah, it's like a trend on, I don't know where it started, but there's this trend where it's like there'll be like a crack like in the trim.
Yeah.
And it'll say like, I forget what it is. Basically POV.
Yeah.
You're a cave diver and you just found out about a cave called Satan's Butthole or something like that. And they'll be like measuring the crack in the trim and then they'll like go into it. But like not really, obviously.
Right.
But it's like that. Like everybody's doing it. I'm not really sure why.
Dude, that is wild.
Cave diving.
Dude, cave diving, I think that is one thing I think I could get into someday. Not now, but like
underwater caves?
Like underwater caves.
Spelunking? That's the term, I believe.
Oh, is it?
I'm
actually?
pretty sure. Yeah.
I don't know. But like, yeah, I feel like I could see myself doing that. I feel like I could see myself doing more aquatic activities like that.
You can have the ocean, man. Not for me.
But I want to be close to the mountains too, you know.
I could do caving, like, you know, where I'm not at threat of being drowned.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with claustrophobia or anything.
Yeah.
But some of these caves are scary, man.
Dude, I know.
You're like, you can't fully breathe. Like, you have to take, like...
Shallow breaths, yeah.
Scary.
Dude,
man, I forgot what I was even trying to talk about.
We were talking about national parks.
Oh, yeah, national parks. I think... I don't really know. I do want to go to the Bonneville Salt Flats. I'm not sure if that's even a national park, but that's something I've had on my list for a while.
Yeah.
Yosemite came to mind too. It's like one that I've never been to.
Yeah.
I saw the Rockies, northern New Mexico. So I've seen some of that stuff, but maybe a little further south into Texas, and then I would really like to see the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
You only got one life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
For our community, did you have anything else to say about national parks or anything?
No, man. I mean, I love national parks, obviously.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay.
Dude, yeah.
Let's see. What was I trying to do here? Okay, so for our community interaction segment, we had a comment on TikTok. Our TikTok, people have been commenting. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's not all positive, but it's all comments, and we appreciate that.
Yeah.
But one guy, he said, he was talking about what he said. So what he said was,
I feel like I know what you're gonna say.
My man's is wearing Hanes only on his bottom half for this podcast, referring to.
Can you just say that again for the microphone?
My man's is only okay. He said, what did he say? Is my man's really only wearing Hanes on his bottom half for this podcast?
Mm.
I'm pretty sure that's basically what he said.
Okay.
Referring to your shorts and how when you're just kind of looking at the camera, you're just watching like a wide view when we got the wide shot, it kind of looks like you're not really wearing any pants.
Really? Mm-hmm. It looks like that?
Sometimes, yeah, because I can see a good 18 inches of your thigh right now.
Yeah, so the thing with these are not underwear.
Oh man, our light died.
We just lost our light.
It's time to wrap it up.
All right, well, can I explain?
Talk about your pants.
These are athletic shorts. What you don't know his username, but
no idea.
Yeah, but
he seems like a pretty cool guy.
Whatever dude made that comment. These are athletic shorts, right? I don't know if you listen to the podcast a lot, but I'm a pretty athletic guy.
I don't think he does listen to the podcast.
And I run and stuff, and I work out. And these are my go-to shorts. I don't even know what they are called, but it's Nike brand. You know, I'm not like a big brand guy, but that's just the brand of shorts, man. And they're really comfortable. They're lightweight. And I've worn them for years. You know, I have 2 pairs of black, and I just cycle through them weekly. And it's fantastic, man. They're so light, and they're short, you know. And I like the short shorts because sorry. I like the short shorts because it's very breathable, and it's very comfortable as well. You know, there's not much any contact on my skin because there's nothing there.
Right.
Right. So I find it very comfortable, and yeah, man. I don't know. I just like them, and I do notice when I sit down for a long period of time, they kind of get hiked up my thighs, but I don't mind it, man. You know, and if you don't mind it, then that's good.
Yeah.
That's about it with them. But
what's the inseam on those? 5?
Inseam?
Yeah.
3? Dude, it's gotta be like 4 inches, maybe. I don't know, actually. It's probably longer than that.
I've got a pair of, I think, 7 or 9.
Yeah.
And they're like here, maybe here.
It probably is 7,
probably
man.
like here,
it probably is, because when I stand up, they're they're about here, so it's really not that bad. I've seen way shorter shorts than these.
Right. Maybe if you're gonna be sitting down and on camera for like a period of time.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a different pair for that.
Of shorts
or pants or
or
whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
It could be that, man. Yeah, I'll look into it, but it's just my lifestyle, you know.
Yeah, hike your own hike, man.
It's but I'll look into some other options. You know, I'm not very wardrobe like purposeful or anything like that. I just kind of throw on the same clothes every single day, and I don't have a problem with it until they start smelling. Then I wash them, and then I wear them again. So
okay,
well, but that's about it for me.
That's it, man. Episode 10, double digits.
Yeah,
145 subscribers. Keep them coming. Hit the like button.
Smash that like button.
No, just tap it. It's good.
Smash it.
We're still here.
We're
here. Yeah, so keep supporting us, guys. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, for real.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, keep leaving comments that make me mad.
Keep making Carter mad because it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll talk to you later now.
All right, man. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
See you next time.